Additional developing story with Tua Tagovailoa and his status for Thursday's game against the Bengals. We mentioned that he did not enter concussion protocol, but he is dealing with a back issue stemming from the hit that he took last week against the Bills. Miami officially listed him as questionable this afternoon. Certainly for a team that is on a roll, is a point of emphasis to have their quarterback on the field. As we say hello to our Dolphins reporter Marcel Louis-Jacques, who joins us now from Cincinnati. And Marcel, what hurdles does Tua have to clear in order to be available tomorrow night against the Bengals?
Well, Elle, it's my understanding that Tua has made good progress from yesterday to today, and that signs are positive, pointing toward him playing right behind me here Thursday night against the Bengals. But right now, it's a matter of functionality rather than pain tolerance. He puts so much emphasis on torquing his core to get power behind his throws that it's going to come down to how much pain he can tolerate before it starts to impact his mechanics, as Mike McDaniel told us yesterday. A final decision will be made Thursday morning, and if he can't go, it'll be Teddy Bridgewater taking the start from Miami, with Skylar Thompson, the 7th-round rookie out of Kansas State, backing him up. And it's not just Tua on that injury report. McDaniel told us this week that he's concerned about several players, and if you see the injury report we got a couple hours ago, you can see why. There's a lot of big names on that list. Teron Armstead, Xavier Howard, Brandon Jones, Jalen Waddle. I mean, the list goes on. All these guys listed as questionable. In Armstead's case, McDaniel trusts his veterans' preparation, that he'll be ready to play even if he doesn't practice in full throughout the week. And more or less the same goes for Howard. But if Howard can't play, that means the Dolphins are without their top 2 corners against maybe the best wide receiving trio in the NFL. So it's something to keep an eye on as we transition into game day and eventually into kickoff.
Yeah, maybe the totality of those injuries is why our Football Power Index says the Bengals have a 75% chance.
The Eagles' strong start.
I'm not going to not acknowledge how pleasant it is to feel the feeling of victory and how hard it is to get that feeling. You know, we have a lot of great football teams in this league. They get paid too. They work hard just like we work hard. So that's the respect. That's the respect I have for the game, and I think that's the respect we all should have for the game. Winning is hard. Winning is hard, and you have to value that.
Eagles reporter Tim McManus joining us now live from South Philly. Tim, what have you heard from this Eagles coaching staff on the way Hurts has played after 3 games?
Hey, Kevin, well, you can hear it in the way that the coaches are talking about Hurts, that their belief has jumped to even a higher level. Offensive coordinator Shane Steichen saying that if Hurts continues on this trend, it's going to be special. And the game against Washington really fueling that optimism. A couple plays stand out. In particular, the touchdown to Devontae Smith at the end of the first half. Time's running down. Hurts takes over the play calling, dials up something that wasn't even part of the game plan, and it goes for 6. Asking Coach Nick Sirianni about it, he told me that Hurts' accuracy has been really tremendous and that he's seeing what the defense is doing. So some really good signs for the Birds.
Quieting a lot of doubters when it comes to that accuracy question entering the season. Doug Peterson was Hurts' head coach when he was drafted a couple years ago. The former Eagles head coach will be back at the link this weekend for the first time since he was fired following that 2020 season. He had this to say today about that Super Bowl statue of him and Nick Foles outside the stadium.
Personally, I've never seen it in person. Obviously it's a great honor to have, me and Rocky Balboa, I guess, in the city of Philadelphia, and Nick Foles. But no, I mean, it's an honor. It really is, something that we accomplished, as a team, as an organization, in 2017-18, it's just a nice reminder.
Do you ever plan to visit the statue?
Maybe one day after I retire or something like that, but have no plans to anytime soon.
Wow, he's never seen it. That's a stunner in that press conference. Tim, what's the feeling surrounding this team with Peterson coming back?
If you're talking Peterson reunion, you can go right to the veterans. So defensive end Brandon Graham said he might have a little trash talk in store for Peterson on Sunday. It's kind of his thing. But mostly he was talking about his gratitude for Peterson for helping deliver the first championship that he had experienced at any level. Right tackle Lane Johnson credited Peterson for helping to resurrect his career. So some really strong words and a lot of love clearly still in that locker room for Peterson. When I talked to him earlier today, he said that he wasn't sure the type of reception that he was going to get at Lincoln Financial Field on Sunday, hoping that it's something close to what Andy Reid received when he came back with the Chiefs, a standing ovation. Kevin, we know that Philly fans can be a lot of things, but ungrateful for a championship, not one of them. I think that Peterson's going to get his flowers on Sunday.
Tim, well said. He will get a standing ovation before kickoff, and then after that, all bets are off. Tim, thank you so much.
Kevin, you asked if I had heard that the Eagles were undefeated. Have you heard that Aaron Judge is chasing 61 home runs?
Rumblings.
Roger Maris's home run record for the American League. He's been on a 7-game drought. What seemed like a foregone conclusion just a couple weeks ago is getting interesting as the Yankees have already clinched the division, leading people to
his legacy even greater.
Let's bring back senior NFL insider Adam Schefter. Adam, as we take a look at some of the key injuries, it's been a theme so far all season. The Bucs are beat up at wide receiver. What more can you tell us heading into the weekend?
Well, Kevin, they got a little bit of good news today with Julio Jones being back at practice in a limited fashion. And the Bucs have some hopes that he could be ready. They thought he might be ready last week. It was a game-time decision. They didn't send him out there. They're hopeful he can be back from the knee injury he suffered on this play. We'll find out later in this week because they're also waiting to see whether Chris Godwin will be back. He also was limited in practice today. Little steps for Godwin and Jones for now, which is semi-encouraging. The Saints have their own wide receiver issues. Both Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, limited in practice today in London. Thomas is dealing with a foot injury that he suffered on Sunday, and Landry has an ankle injury. They could be without both players playing the Minnesota Vikings in the international game in London, a setback for the Saints right now. And Christian McCaffrey was held out of practice today. No practice due to a quad thigh injury. Now, normally they rest him on Wednesdays, and it's just a rest day, but in this particular case, they actually listed an injury. Doesn't sound overly serious, but anytime your running back is on the injury report with a quad or thigh injury, that's a little bit worrisome right now. And Joey Bosa is going to have to undergo surgery on a tear in his groin. He's going to be out indefinitely. The Chargers believe he'll be able to return later this season, but they did officially place him on injured reserve today, along with their Pro Bowl left tackle, Rashawn Slater. They lose Bosa, they lose Slater, and there might not be a team in the league that's had to endure more injury adversity early on than the Chargers.
Yeah,
Kevin.
Justin Herbert, obviously with the injury that he's been dealing with around the ribs, and then Keenan Allen, what we've seen the last couple weeks, him sitting out. This team with big names has been beat up to start the season. They're at the Texans on Sunday. Shefty, thank you so much. El?
Thank you, Kevin.
Another big matchup in Week 4, Bills and Ravens, a couple of favorites to make the Super Bowl in the AFC, meeting up in Baltimore. Jacksonville leads the NFL with 10 passing touchdowns. Allen second with 9. Josh Allen has the third highest QBR, and Jackson is second. What a matchup. Lamar speaking today on the big AFC matchup.